All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Vermont Legislature's Committee on Environment and Energy. We're going to continue our discussion of our budget letter. And we left off with a conversation about aquatic invasive species management. So we should pick up there. And has there been, you've thought more about it? Representative Smith?
I certainly have.
Okay.
And I have a number in my head.
Okay, lay it on us.
I'd like $500,000 in it.
$1 million.
Because there's a lot of lakes in Vermont that should be addressed now rather than later.
It's true. What would be the line item that we would put that into? Remind us what page we're on here.
Well, I can tell you the three places that it's mentioned,
Okay.
or rather budget areas that are mentioned to it.
Yep.
Top of page 3-ish, where it says B709 Lakewise program, although that's for people and you weren't, okay. So the two places, D101 parentheses 2 parentheses B, that has lakes in crisis, and the other water area is if you go to the last page, there are two bullets that mention maybe I didn't. Maybe we need
Another bullet.
yeah. I mean, I mentioned that the Clean Water Fund should go to VHCB. I mentioned above that if there's, maybe we need another bullet.
I know there was a separate spot in where funds were available for these kind of programs at $350,000, and they reduced it, I believe, to $250,000 for eradication of milfoil. And I haven't seen that anywhere anymore. So I don't know I don't even know where to start looking for it. I think it's all gone. I think they've done away with that program.
Oh, you haven't seen it this year at all?
No.
In none of the budget documents?
No, I have not.
What were the two? I missed the first one. Say the two that used to
them,
exist before.
One was $350,000 and it was reduced last year. I know Lake Derby and Lake Salem both got, I believe they got $15,000 each from the state, and the town matched the funds or close. So I think we need to have a whole new program to start this thing back up again.
So I'm looking at the spreadsheet that House Appropriations sent us. And they do have a section B.225.2. Although this says AFM clean water, it says no new initiatives. And then the other section that we could perhaps reference is B709. This is ANR-EC. And the category is actually management and support. And the notes, it says to build a balanced state fiscal year 24 budget, DEC is requesting additional general funds to meet some of the demands of the ongoing operational costs, as well as reducing one position within Office of Waters to help absorb the increased salary and benefit costs from SFY 23. So we could put something in there, or B711 ANR-EC water programs.
DEC?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's in there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Water program sounds like the place it should go.
So wait, I have a question on that. So it says meet some of the demands of the ongoing operational costs, as well as reducing one per position. So they're going to ask for extra money to reduce?
Well, they're doing their vacancy savings of 6 full-time positions.
Aggressive vacancy saving.
I think I forwarded this to everyone, right? Did I?
Well, I think everyone got it, but. Yeah. So what do we want to say about aquatic invasive species eradication support? It's just. What's your sentence, Representative Smith?
We probably add another line to it, shouldn't we?
I just, the descriptor, because in our letter, we're going to make a recommendation.
We need to make funds available to municipalities. And they need to request monies from the state in order to fulfill milfoil eradication attempts. I guess that's the word to use. I know that the Lake Salem Association wanted us to give them $300,000 of our ARPA funds over the course of a few years. There's an injection system that they take along the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the right way to go about doing this.
But I don't think we need to get into the weeds.
Okay.
I wrote down.
Good one. Good one, Chair.
Make funds available. Make funds available to municipalities to address aquatic invasive species management and
To attempt removal.
I wrote and eradication, management and eradication.
Do you want to read that? We recommend,
Yes.
um,
Maybe we should even say reinstituting. Because we did use that as
instituting
grants,
grants.
maybe just to grants to address
Trying to find if we have.
aquatic
Do we
invasive
want to
species
say
management.
reinstitute? Because if there is still a program somewhere, we won't be reinstituting it. And they might put us in dirty water
Reinstituting
on it.
slashing / augmenting
Funding or reinstituting if necessary.
funding. If necessary.
To address aquatic invasive species management.
In the amount of 500,000.
I'd like to ask for more, but it will go nowhere if I do.
Yeah.
This may not go anywhere anyway.
It's gonna
but-
seem like a lot at this, but it's, sure.
Might cut you to 3 or something.
And we should probably exclude Lake Champlain from being able to apply for this. They've got a lot of money.
I don't think you can.
Maybe
Can you?
for smaller lakes in Vermont, I don't know, inland lakes. Am I pushing it? All right. Jeez.
Let's make our intention clear. Yeah.
It's a little complication in this actually. Because I like excluding Champlain. One reason is that I want to tack onto this not to be used for herbicides. And the problem with doing that in Champlain is the New York connection and the federal government and some of the lamprey. We just don't want to get into that.
No,
But within our lakes in Vermont, I think Champlain does have a ton of money. I actually think this is for the inland lakes. And I also want to make sure the money doesn't go for herbicides.
Well, and I think lake specific actually, because you bring up Lamperside and all that other stuff.
could we use the word inland lakes? Or,
They're all.
I mean, I think people do use that word, but it's,
They're
I
all-
think just maybe not Lake Champlain.
Because Lake Champlain is an inland lake,
Yes, technically, it's not,
I know
it's not
what
an
you meant,
ocean.
but-
not an ocean. Really curious though, why this doesn't fit under D1012B, the lakes in crisis.
Well, lake in crisis is a specific designation.
Just
And,
designation.
and bringing that up, I think, I don't know if we need to draw this to their attention, but I'm pretty sure that statutorily there's a $50,000 limit and there's only one lake in crisis. So I wish I asked the question, like, what is thinking behind this? Are they proposing to raise the cap? Do they have others in mind? Have others met the criteria that we know of? I don't think so.
So I think it's just like current.
Representative Clifford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just wanted, while we're on that herbicide subject, and Seth, maybe you can help me out on this. I know that there are just historically, I mean, Lake St. Catherine, don't they use herbicides?
No, they do on Bomazine. I don't know if they do on St. Catherine, but it's, I guess my starting point is it is by definition a bad idea to dumping herbicides in lakes.
No, I get you. I get you. Looking at us when we, the bill that's going to address this some more, right? Somewhat,
Bill,
right. So I already know that like the Lake Bomazine Association, it's pretty bad controversy there about using and not. So I guess I have a concern about, hearing testimony first about both of them, but
I understand the point. But I do think that this is, that what we write here would adhere only to this extra money.
okay.
And we're saying for this extra money, we want it to go for prevention, not herbicides.
So it wouldn't have a conflict with testimony we're going to hear about.
And that's, I think, what Representative Smith wants to is for it to be for prevention, not prevention and not eradication, actually, but not herbicides.
So I actually mentioned it twice, the herbicides now. So I have the D101 2B, which is in your paper copy, Lakes in Crisis, that does say, however, we do not support using this money for herbicides. But recall that's just one lake at this point that can meet that criteria. And that I've now added a bullet. It's now the first bullet. Other areas that the committee discussed include B.711 water programs. We recommend funding, parentheses, or reinstituting if necessary, parentheses, grants to address invasive species management and prevention in the amount of $500,000, which should not be used to go to herbicides.
Right.
Which means it would not include Lake Champlain. It is not.
Why?
Why?
No, that-
Yeah. State.
Oh, this is
Want me to add
new
that?
money. Actually, this is just the new money anyway, so we almost don't need to say now that I think about it.
Do you want me to add that? Or?
I would add it.
Yeah, I think we have it.
Yeah.
It's intended for smaller lakes.
Not intended for sure.
Do members have other areas that they would like to discuss in the budget bill?
I want to flag that I did not say in your paper copy that the top bullet discusses the need for overarching compensating volunteers via community engagement stipends. Thank you, Representative Sibilia, for the correct terminology. I did not say how much. Not sure if people feel like that needs to be flagged, but
Yeah. I don't think it does. I think that's something that needs to be debated, and if they take it up.
I agree.
Right.
So no recommendation.
On an amount
Yeah.
for what a stipend would be. I don't think I'm prepared to do that right now.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so are folks feeling good about this letter and able to support it as a unit? Okay. Yes.
There's just a little typo is on the first page under B 1121B.
okay, copyright.
No, the bottom line, it's should not have an apostrophe. That is all I could come up with. So otherwise, it looks awesome. Thank you.
It's steering committee.
Yeah.
It's. Any others?
Where
Although
were the-
technically this says, thank you, Chair Sheldon.
Thank you, Chair Shulman. I want to thank you, Representative Stebbins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
This says sincerely mine,
Uh,
and I would be happy if it was for both of us, since you did such a heavy lift on it
Or we could say sincerely, Chair Sheldon
in the committee.
and the committee.
Sounds like a band.
That sounds good.
Are we named now to energy and environment?
Environment.
She forgot her true color.
Sure.
It switches on opposite.
Yeah.
Our side is environment and energy.
It's funny.
There are copyrights in the table. You saw those. Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna fix that.
Okay. What are they from? Oh, it's a C
Excel.
and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It does it automatically and then you have to back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Technology making your life better.
Vermont Housing and Conservation Board.
VHCB. No, VHCB. Everyone abbreviates it VHCB. Oh, are you talking about abbreviation or writing it out?
When you write it out, is there any?
Vermont Housing and Conservation Board.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, the one other thing, I didn't know where to put your reference to the EPA opportunity,
Oh,
which is why you don't see it.
Oh,
Well, how about
yeah.
with the climate council.
Yes.
And, you know, I think.
Is it not just a bullet that you could put? Because it came up when we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Facilitation of things, right? So.
I'll add it. We wanted to highlight that there was a new opportunity, yada, yada.
So the money up.
Oh, it's a typo.
Not quite.
Thank you for that.
I think it's already come out. What page are you on? It's not, right, but I think it's gone anyway.
700,000.
Totally different paragraph now. But yeah, you should follow up. Yeah.
Oh, this is it here. This is where I would put it. Because
Okay, I can do that.
Putting it in the environmental justice section. Oh, no, climate work. Yeah.
Yeah, under-
Yep, climate work. That's good.
so there's the 9.
Folks. You ready to do a straw vote on this?
I want to.
Oh, yeah. Gabrielle,
Let me just do this one sentence before I forget.
One word change. Third page.
Hope it's a short change.
It's a one word. Say governor's recommendation for $10 million for PSB's critical infrastructure program or Senate. Allocation, I would say back rather than level. Back of the.
Yes, sir.
all right. Would you want to just read us that last thing you inserted?
Yes, so under B 1121B, governor's recommendation, this is roughly on bottom of your page 1. the sentence ends with a quote, "It's steering in subcommittees while utilizing this appropriation." I've added, additionally, the committee would like to highlight that there is a newly released grant opportunity to conduct work along these lines through the Environmental Protection Agency available here, and then I provide the link.
Great.
Is that clear enough?
Um,
I gotta go play. Ways and means,
okay, so, what bill?
158.
Okay, wow, all right. How to word this?
Just a Strovel?
Yeah, is anyone opposed to the letter? So all those in favor? Say, raise your hand. I guess it's just say, are any opposed? None opposed, great.
I'm sure.
Can't vote
Will we
twice.
make sure to post
Can't
this
vote twice.
adjusted letter up as to appropriations when that's approved?
Our final letter. So yeah, we'll post the final letter up on our webpage. And do members have thoughts about the final week before crossover that they want to share here this moment?
I do.
Okay. Representative Seven.
I would just like to recognize that there is a bill coming to this committee that will bring a lot of questions and, I guess, pun intended, heat. And I just want to flag that there's a lot of misinformation being shared. And also that the bill, when that misinformation is sent out, it can really scare Vermonters. So I just want to flag that I'm somewhat looking forward to really working together to try and make sure that the
Oh, me
truth
too,
gets out.
Gabrielle.
By somewhat, I mean, it'll be challenging. So, but I'm looking forward to it. And I really hope that we dig into the facts.
Cause and effects.
Yeah.
Representative Scalia.
As a kind of leader in getting that bill passed last year and having participated in both the summer and fall processes, looking at real concerns and talking about how to improve that bill, watching the process. I've been pretty disappointed actually about the public dialogue and what's happened in the Senate, considering the improvements that have been made to something that I feel is really critical. So I am definitely looking forward to working on this. It is really dense.
Mhm.
And I want to make myself available to anybody on this committee who would like to talk through any aspects of it. Maybe not Wednesday through Sunday.
Definitely not. Representative Pat.
As someone who also was on the committee that put out the House bill last year, first of all, I feel the same way. I've deliberately not sat down and read the word for word of what the Senate has done. I've read the news accounts of what they've done in terms of putting in a time frame for coming back and making a final decision, which is very parallel to what ended up happening previously. But I also, if anyone wants to talk to me about my version of what the bill does and what it doesn't do, I'd be happy to talk to people one-on-one about that, because I agree that the contact I've been getting from some constituents is just like, no, that's not what the bill does. So.
Representative Sibilia.
Just one other item for new members in particular. So Ellen is the drafter. So Ellen, of course, is also a resource on any questions on the bill is introduced, what's happening in the Senate, and what will be coming to us. She also has a great section by section that is available. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about S5, to be clear. If you want to look it
Oh,
up.
really?
For
You
people.
got that.
Yeah, I got it.
Question, what do we want to do with it?
It was.
Before crossover?
Yeah, it was.
So
That was the question.
I would be, if it were up to me, I mean, what I would like to do is really focus on river corridors and lakes.
Yeah.
Because we have that little window before this stuff gets to us.
Yeah.
And if I could, if we want, that's what I would do. Why not?
Representative Sealy.
So I would like to catch us up on a number of energy pieces that will be connected to S5. Like to have us hear from Efficiency Vermont, from Vermont Gas and BED, which are also efficiency utilities, and perhaps hear more from the PUC, an overview about how they function in general, as well as I think it might be important for us to hear about the Clean Power Link. Although we could do that later on in the session. But those would be pieces that I would think would be helpful for us to hear about just generally as the Energy Committee and in particular before we take it.
Representative Logan, then Stefan.
So are we not going to try to get any small bill out of committee?
That's what we're talking about right
Yeah,
now.
okay.
We
But
do
it
have
sounds like-
248A on the agenda for Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah,
48.
section 248A, and not a bill, it's a section in statute that we started talking a little bit about it earlier in this session. It's the extension,
We had testimony about this earlier. For it, 248A and Title 30, the PUC chapter, the PUC title deals with issues, infrastructure, and in particular, cell towers and but other any other kind of infrastructure as well.
Representative. Did you? Stefan.
I was just gonna say, I concur it'd be really helpful. Not that I don't want to touch on rivers and fluvial water bodies, but I think it'd be really helpful to lay a chunk of groundwork with regards to how the PUC works, what the PSD does. And related, so I think it would be helpful maybe at some point if we could find out who to ask to figure out what the incentives are and what the technical assistance is for homeowners to improve their homes, because that's going to be a repeated piece of this question, which is, if we do this, how are we making sure Vermonters, know what their tools in the toolbox are? And I'm not sure that piece of the conversation is clear enough out amongst legislators as well as out in the broader public. So literally, like, what are the incentives at Efficiency Vermont? How much is the energy coach used at Capstone? What are the low-income options through VHFA? Like, literally have it very clear so that we know how we're setting Vermonters up if this bill passes.
I'd like to talk about this when we get back, because my neck just started feeling a little better.
Yeah, so, but also I think for new
Shut
members,
up,
it's
kidding.
important to realize it is the final week before crossover.
Yeah.
So we will certainly have time for background and building on understanding of bills coming over to us. Representative Logan, did you have?
No, I mean, it just sounds like we probably have time to do one bill maximum in that time, right? I have people who've been mentioning things to me that would be helpful to their communities. Like Catherine Sims mentioned H48, which in her opinion was an easy fix. I feel like
It can be.
it is actually solid waste management, but it has
Wrapped around the landfill and the rivers in Newport and Lake Memphis Magog, pretty much in a nutshell.
Maybe that's not the one.
And actually, Energy solid waste management is H48. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's what I'm
It's a
talking
Sims bill, but that one, she was proposing a change right now. Smaller septic systems can't be sited near lakes due to concerns around indirect
about. Well, this is definitely not a
discharge.
small topic.
Yeah, no.
If you're talking about reclassification,
That's
that's not a
that
small,
was- that could become a big topic.
that's not a weak
Yeah.
topic. Anyway, others have Representative Seneca.
Well, I do like the idea of if there's something modest that we could get done before crossover, it would be great to have something else out of committee. I don't know if, my guess is that the trapping bill is probably not in that category, but if it is, it would be great simply because I think this year is a really good time to get that done, given the high profile cases that have been in the news this year. And then, but I think what would be one of the smaller bills is my bill that would allow landowners to post every 5 years instead of every year. Basically, what that bill would do. It's a pretty small change. So that would be just throwing it out there as something that we could probably do in a limited amount of time.
I'm just here to learn, and I'm happy to learn. I've learned so much just being here for the short time I've been here. And I do think that the cell tower issue is, the broadband is probably one of the biggest for everyone. So.
Oh, and I figured it out. It's H84, an act relating to the permitting of indirect discharges.
Yeah.
So
That would be involving leachate, wouldn't it?
it would,
Yeah.
and the issue is, probably would take more than a couple days of discussion,
All right.
Yeah, I bet.
but not much more than that.
Take just a second here to say thank you to everyone for a fully engaged first half of the session. And I hope everyone has a fabulous break. And then just one more moment to thank Representative Stebbins for 2 heavy lifts for us this week. One is a first floor and budget work. So really grateful for that. Thank you. And sorry, they happened at the same time.
So she gets an extra week off, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I do hope everyone takes time to rejuvenate and do whatever makes you happy and recharges your batteries. Thank you all. With that, we're adjourned for the meeting.